Okay, let's continue our discussion on demand, supply, and market equilibrium. So, previously we have discussed about demand. This time around, let's discuss about supply. So, as we all know that demand driven by user, by the buyer. Okay. Opposite to demand, supply derived by the supplier, by the seller, by the producer. Okay, those are the same thing. So supply commonly thought of as the amount of the output a producer can make. Berapa banyak yang producer tu dapat produce the product. It can be defined as the quantity of goods that a producer is able and willing to sell at certain price in a given period of time. So in supply, the buyer's action has no effect on the supply. Tak ada kena-mengena langsung. You nak beli ke, tak nak beli ke, dia tak ada kena-mengena dengan supply. Dalam supply ni, dia memang ianya bergantung 100% kepada producer tersebut. Kalau producer tu dapat produce banyak, then banyaklah kuantiti yang kita ada, supply yang kita ada. Kalau producer tu dapat produce sikit, dan sikitlah kuantiti supply yang kita ada. So, supply is the outcome of the seller's choice, as in the seller decide how much output to produce. Okay. Suppose that we wish to find the supply of a particular producer of hair shampoo. So our interest at this time is only with one firm and the individual supply of that firm. Hanya kita cuma nak satu firm sahaja dan individual supply daripada firm tersebut. Itu je lah. One way to determine the supply would be to ask the seller a series of what if questions. So, the first question. What if the going price of hair shampoo were RM10 a bottle? Macam mana kalau harga untuk shampoo tu adalah RM10 sebotol? Berapa banyak awak, which is the seller, be willing and able to offer the sale? So, of course, to answer this what if question is the quantity supplied. So, what is quantity supplied? Quantity supplied is the amount of goods or services that seller are willing and able to sell. All the quantity supplies taken together and the price yield supply. So, as in demand, apa yang kita dah belajar sebelum ni, the quantity supplied, price plays an important role untuk menentukan harga tu menentukan berapa banyak barang yang boleh dibekalkan. For example, semua orang suka makan aiskrim kan? Aiskrim. Let's say the ice cream business is booming. Okay, booming. Semua orang suka makan aiskrim. Semua orang hari-hari makan aiskrim. So, when that happen, apa yang berlaku adalah the supplier ni, the producer ni, dia nampak business ice cream ni booming. Business ice cream ni profitable. Business ice cream ni dapat banyak duit. So, apa yang berlaku adalah the producer, dia akan buat lebih banyak ice cream lagi. Dia akan beli lebih banyak ice cream machine and hire lebih banyak worker to produce the ice cream. Because semua orang nak makan ice cream, jadi dia nak produce ice cream banyak-banyak, dia buatlah all this thing, beli machine, hire pekerja, just to produce the large amount of the ice cream. Okay, so bila dia produce banyak, dia dapat jual banyak lah kan. Okay, by contrast, when the price of ice cream is low, the business is less profitable and the seller produce less ice cream. Bila business ice cream tu dah tak booming lagi kan, so jual ice cream pun dah tak untung lagi. Apa yang berlaku adalah producer ataupun seller dia akan kurangkan pengeluaran aiskrim. Sebab tak tahu buat apa nak keluarkan banyak-banyak kan. So, at a low price, some seller may even choose to shut down, close the business completely, and the quantity supplied falls to zero. So in this situation, this relationship between the price and the quantity supplied is called law of supply. Okay. So, what is law of supply? Law of supply shows a direct relationship between price of good and quantity supply of goods and services. So this one should be goods and services. Goods, goods and services. Services. Okay. When other things equal, so the price of the good rises, the quantity supply of the good also rise. And when the price fall, the quantity supply fall as well. So with that in mind, we know that price and quantity supply have a positive relationship. So dia punya curve akan from left to right. Macam mana rupanya? It will be this way, right? This one is the price, this one is the quantity. So kalau kat sini dia kata when the price rise, the quantity supply rise. It should be this way. Betul tak? Okay. Ini quantity. Bila harga dia menaik, harga kat sini katakanlah RM1, quantity supply adalah 1. Harga RM3, quantity supply adalah 5, for example. Okay. It looks this way lah. Positive relationship. Bila barang tu jelah kita dapat offer dengan harga yang bagus, jadi orang pun nak ambil. Orang nak banyak. Okay. Let's take a look at this example. So in figure 5, it shows that the quantity of the ice cream cone supplied each month by Mr. Ben. Okay, by Mr. Ben. So Mr. Ben is an ice cream seller. So he sells an ice cream at various price. Okay, at a price of $1, at a price of $1. So here, at a price of $1, okay, Mr. Ben does not supply any ice cream at all. $1 dia cuma supply satu je. Satu je. Okay. As the price rises, he supply a greater and greater quantity. This is the supply schedule. This one. Ini adalah supply schedule. Kenali sebagai supply schedule. Supply. Schedule. Okay. And this known as supply curve. Supply curve. Okay. Okay, pada harga aiskrim cone RM1, Mr. Ben hanya produce satu sahaja yang dia dapat bagi. Okay, sebab mungkin kos pengeluarannya kos pengeluaran dia pun dah lebih daripada RM1 kan. Macam kat sini kalau tengok 50 sen langsung tak ada. Mungkin kos pengeluarannya lebih daripada 50 sen. Jadi dia tak dapat nak supply pada harga, dia tak dapat nak supply barang tersebut pada harga 50 sen. Pada harga barang RM1, dia hanya dapat supply satu sahaja sebab mungkin kos dia untuk produce pun tak memberikan sebarang pelanggan kan. Tapi pada harga RM3 macam ni, dia dapat produce 5 unit. So kalau harga tu lagi meningkat, katakanlah sampai RM10 kan. Katakanlah kat sini kita buat sampai RM10. Mungkin dia dapat produce lagi banyak. Mungkin kat sini kalau 3, 15, sorry 3, 5, mungkin kat sini dia dapat produce 15. Ini menunjukkan relationship antara quantity supply dengan price. So ini dikatakan sebagai this relationship ni kat dalam ni antara price dengan quantity, ini dikenali sebagai law of supply. So this one dikenali sebagai supply schedule ini, and the graph over here menunjukkan supply curve. So what is supply schedule? Supply schedule is the table that shows the relationship between price of a good and the quantity supplies. So ini adalah satu contoh supply schedule, and this is another example of the supply schedule for this one I cannot remember supply schedule untuk apa, but this one is the supply schedule for apa nama tu? Oil. Okay, kalau kita tengok kan dekat sini, pada harga $1 per gallon, the quantity supplied hanya it can reach sampai 500 million of gallon. Tapi when the price rises kepada RM2.20, bukan RM2, $2.20, the quantity supplied can reach until 720 million of gallon. Okay. With supply schedule, we can plot a supply curve. So what is supply curve? Supply curve is a graphical representation that shows the relationship between the price and the quantity of the supply item. Pretty simple, huh? This is the supply curves of the gasoline tadi yang kita tengok dekat previous slide tadi. Okay. So in this graph, the supply curve is created by graphing the point from the supply schedule and then connecting them. The upward slope of the supply curve illustrate this one. Illustrate kat sini. Illustrate the law of supplies, that a higher price lead to higher quantity supply and vice versa. Lagi mahal harga barang, lagi banyak yang producer dapat produce. Sebab they can make profit, right? This is another example. This one is the supply schedule for pizza. Supply schedule for pizza. Pada harga pizza satu slice, kuantiti yang dapat dia produce cuma 1 unit sahaja. Tak profitable kan? Jual RM1 tak profitable. Tapi kalau dia jual harga pizza tu pada RM5 satu unit, dia dapat produce kan 18 unit. Profitable. Lebih menguntungkan kepada seller. So basically this number kita from this schedule kita plotkan kepada bentuk graph. This one is a pretty simple. Okay. So the shape of the supply curves will vary somewhat according to the product. It can be steeper, flatter, straighter, or more curved. Depend on the product. So nearly all supply curve, however, share the basic similarity, which is slope up from left to right. Regardless, it is steeper ke, flatter ke, straighter ke, or more curved ke, dia tetap akan menunjukkan most of it lah, tunjukkan positive relationship daripada left to the right. Okay, because it is the law of the supply. As the price rises, say from $1 per gallon to $2.2 per gallon, the quantity supply increase from 500 million per gallon to 720 million per gallon. So when the price fall, the quantity supply also decrease. So next, let's talk about market supply and individual supply. Uh, this is the same as in demand. In demand, we have learned about individual demand and market demand. So individual demand drive individually, whereby market demand drive by combining a few of the individual demand together. So sama juga macam dekat dalam market supply versus individual supply. Dalam individual supply ni derived by only one producer sahaja, whereby market supply ni derived by uh, multiple of a few of the individual seller who produce the same thing dan dijadikan market supply. Contohnya macam shampoo kan, Pantene is one individual supplier. Rejoice is one individual supplier. Apa lagi jenis shampoo? Head and Shoulders is one individual supplier. So market supply ni adalah market supply bagi shampoo. They combine antara individual supplier of Pantene, individual supplier of the Rejoice, individual supplier of the Heads and Shoulders, individual supplier of Shiseido shampoo. So dia akan produce jadi market supply. Okay, sama saja macam market demand. Dia, is the same. So market supply, just as market demand, is the sum of demand of all buyers. Market supply is the sum of the supplier of all sellers. Okay. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. Okay, for example, this is the ice cream cone market. The ice cream cone market. So in table 6 shows the supply schedule for two ice cream producer in the market, which is Mr. Ben, Mr. Ben and Mr. Jerry. So at any price, Mr. Ben's supply schedule tells us that the quantity of ice cream Mr. Ben supplies, and Mr. Jerry's supply schedule tell us the quantity of ice cream that Mr. Jerry ever supplies. The market supply is the sum. This one is the sum of two individual supplies. The graph in figure 6 shows, this one shows the supply schedule for Mr. Ben. This one shows the supply schedule for Mr. Jerry. When we sum these two together, okay, ini kita jadikan dia sebagai satu. Hence it became a market supply. So this one is the supply schedule for market supply. Basically, almost the same like as this one. The market supply curve shows how the total quantity supplied varies as the price of the good rises, holding constant all the other factors beyond price that influence producer decision about how much to sell. So all the other factors kita assume constant. Okay? Kita assume constant. Melainkan harga sahaja. Faktor lain kita assume constant, kita cuma ambil kira harga saja dalam kes ni. Sebagai contoh. Kalau kita tengok kan, Mr. Ben supply ni dia punya graphnya steeper. This one dia macam flatter. Mr. Jerry's graph flatter sikit. Dan market supply ni lebih flat lah berbanding Mr. Jerry. So kalau kita tengok kan, pada harga pada harga RM1 tak nampak pada harga RM1 Mr. Ben dapat produce satu, Mr. Jerry cannot produce at all sebab tu graf dia kat sini kan. Mr. Jerry dia tak dapat produce langsung pada harga RM1 sekosong. Pada harga RM1.50 kedua-duanya dapat produce 2. Tapi pada harga RM2, kalau kita tengokkan kat sini, Mr. Ben dapat produce 3 unit. manakala Mr. Jerry dapat produce 4 unit. Okay. Pada harga RM3, Mr. Ben dapat producekan 5 unit. Kat sini RM3, 5 unit. Tapi Mr. Jerry dapat producekan 8 unit. So that's why dia lebih flatter lah compared to alamak. Mr. Ben. This is not very good problem. Okay. We know about supply. We have discussed about law of supply. We have discussed about the supply schedule, supply curve, market supply, blah, blah, blah. So let's talk about changes in supply. So changes in supply, same thing as demand. The supply can change just like the demand. Like demand, the curve shift right if supply goes up and shift to the left if the supply goes down. Why does it happen? Because the market supply curves hold other things constant. So the curve shift when one factor changes. For example, suppose the price of sugar fall. Sugar is an input into producing of ice cream. So the fall in the price of sugar makes selling ice cream more profitable. Is it? Faham tak? Tak faham. Okay, nak buat ice cream, kena ada sugar, kena ada gula. Bila harga gula jatuh, kita dapat beli gula dengan harga yang lebih murah. Bila kita dapat beli harga gula dengan lebih murah, kos untuk kita producekan ice cream tu lebih rendah lah. Betul? Jadi, kalau macam tu, harga kita akan lebih untung bila kita jual ice cream. Betul tak? Kita jual ice cream pada harga yang sama. Is it? Okay, so this raises the supply of ice cream. Bila harga gula tu jatuh, kita beli gula dengan harga yang murah, jadi kita dapat produce lebih banyak ice cream. Sebab itulah supply dia akan lebih meningkat. So dia lebih, konon-kononnya lebih untung lah bila kita jual ice cream pada harga gula yang lebih murah. Okay. So, at any given price, sellers are now willing to produce a larger quantity. The supply curve of ice cream now shift to the right. Okay, shift to the right. Contohnya macam kat sini. Supply of ice cream. Okay. Dalam figure ni kita tengok, sini dia menunjukkan shift of supply. So, garisan biru ni, this one, S1, ini yang so-called original supply. Lepas tu, bila kita ada sebarang factors yang menyebabkan, okay, contohnya tadi harga gula kan. So, bila harga gula tu turun, kita akan ada shift in supply. Harga gula turun, kita beli gula banyak-banyak, so kita dapat produce lebih banyak supply. So dia akan increase the supply. Dia akan lebih banyak kan. Tapi bila harga gula meningkat, kita tak dapat beli banyak gula. So bila kita dapat beli banyak gula, kita dapat produce kat ice cream tu sikit. So dia akan decrease in supply. Contohnya macam apa ya? Is it buku? No, it doesn't make sense. Apa contoh supply yang awak boleh fikirkan? Contohnya macam, let's say, kilang yang buat kertas. Kilang yang buat kertas kan? Bila harga, you tahu tak kertas tu buat daripada pokok, pak pokok kan? Bila harga harga pokok tu meningkat. Jadi company yang buat kertas tu dia tak dapat produce banyak kertas, dia dapat produce sikit je sebab harga pokok tu meningkat kan. So dia akan decrease. Tapi bila harga pokok tu turun, dia dapat beli banyak pokok, so dia dapat produce lagi banyak-banyak. Kalau macam contohnya macam musim perayaan, kita semua beli biskut raya kan, makanan raya kan, tak kisahlah Chinese ke India ke Malay ke, kita akan beli makanan raya kan. So katakanlah pada tahun tersebut harga tepung murah, katakanlah pada tahun 2001. Let me add another first. Okay, contohnya harga biskut raya. Dalam biskut, kita nak produce biskut raya, kita kena ada pakai apa? Kita kena pakai tepung, kita pakai gula, kita pakai butter. Tepung dengan gula ni dia ada subsidi kan? Subsidi. Okay, let's say tahun 2000, tahun 2013. Harga tepung adalah katakanlah RM2.50. Harga gula RM3. Harga butter RM3.50. With these numbers, let's say awak dapat producekan biskut untuk jual lebih kurang, let's say 100 karton. Katakanlah pada tahun 2018, harga tepung dah naik. Jadi daripada RM2.50 kepada RM2.50 ke RM2 ni? My 5 and my 0 is the same. Kat sini katakanlah, tak apalah, kita naikkan dia jadi RM3. Okay, harga gula. Kat sini RM3, kita naikkan dia jadi RM4. Alamak, RM4. Lepas tu butter. RM4 juga. With these numbers, now the the price of the raw material to produce biskut raya now increase. So you hanya dapat producekan, let's say 80 karton saja of the So ini daripada variance 10 kepada 100 kepada 80 karton ni, kita ada short of 20. Ini dikatakan sebagai decrease in the supply. Decrease dalam supply biskut raya. So, with this number, you mungkin terfikir, you mungkin kata, well, kalau I nak produce juga 100 karton of biskut, dengan harga butter, tepung, gula semua naik, I tambah je lah capital. Kan, betul? But that is not the thing that we are discussing today. Okay, kita tak discuss pasal tambah capital. Biasanya untuk producer ni, producer ni seboleh-bolehnya, dia tak nak tambah capital. Dia nak duduk kat capital yang sama. Ataupun kalau boleh, dia nak kurangkan lagi capital dia, tapi dia nak produce banyak. Itu supplier punya standpoint. Capital dia kecil, modal dia kecil, tapi dia nak produce banyak. Dia tak nak tambah capital dan dia untuk tambahkan order. Dia tak nak. Kalau buat macam tu, dia tak profit lah. Okay. So far, are we clear? Don't worry. Look at this. Study on this matter. Nanti kelas kita boleh discuss. Okay. So, just now we talk about changes in supply. Okay, we have discussed about this matter. Let's talk about the determinant of supply. So sama macam demand, ada beberapa faktor yang akan menentukan supply tersebut. Berapa banyak kita boleh supply. Antaranya adalah market price, the input price, the technology, the expectation, the number of procedure, producer and many other. So, the determinant of Supply are price of good, price of the related good, the level of technology used to produce the product, the production cost, the population, government policies and many others lah. Whether semua tu contribute, semua tu adalah faktor yang dapat menentukan berapa banyak kita dapat produce barang. Contohnya macam kalau macam musim ni, katakanlah musim hujan. Musim hujan, orang suka makan apa musim hujan? Orang suka makan keripik kan? Is it? Makan keripik sampai tengok air hujan. Jadi, orang akan produce banyak keripik pada musim hujan. That's the idea lah. Okay. Saya cuma bagi contoh sikit saja. I will discuss sikit saja contoh determinant of the supply ni. The rest you can go and find it out. So again, for those who has purchased the book, the same book that I use in the class, Principle of Economics, second edition. This one is a Polytechnic series. Publisher is the Oxford Fajar. You can go straight to page 90. These are the details that you can find out. So for those yang tak boleh buku tu, it doesn't matter, but decided to pinjam buku dekat library, Principle of Economics by Robert H. Hank and Ben S. Burnett. Also from Principle of Economy by George McQueen. You boleh tengok kalau daripada buku George McQueen ni, awak boleh tengok page 35. Kalau buku Robert Frank, awak boleh tengok dekat, dia tak ada bagi details lah, tapi awak boleh tengok dekat page 60. Manalah. Okay, let's come back to the real world. Let's come back to this lesson. Determinant of supply. Contohnya saya nak discuss pasal teknologi lah saya rasa. Okay, level of technology. Kat sini saya nak discuss pasal teknologi. Apa kena-mengenanya teknologi dengan supply? Idea tak? So for example, we are still discussing about the production of ice cream. To produce ice cream. Let's say the technology for turning inputs into ice cream is another determinant of supply. So the invention of the mechanized ice cream machine, for example, reduce the amount of labor necessary to make ice cream. Kalau gunakan teknologi Katakanlah gunakan teknologi yang lama, awak ice cream tu kan, do you know how to make ice cream? You want ice cream tu, you mix susu, lepas tu you mix gula, awak mix apa-apalah perisa yang awak nak masuk, awak nak tu. Lepas tu awak kena whip sampailah dia berbuih, dia macam dia kembang. Lepas tu store. Ini kalau handmade ice cream lah. Lepas tu store dekat dalam peti sejuk. Lepas tu bila dia dah beku, keluarkan, whip lagi. Lepas tu simpan balik. Okay, katakanlah old school technology in producing the ice cream, you have to whip manually. You pakai yang tools tu, you whip manually kan. Kalau you buat macam tu, banyak tak produk yang awak boleh produce? Tak ada produce banyak kan? Sebab apa? Awak dah lama nak whip tu. Lepas tu dia buat secara manual, kita perlukan labor yang banyak. Labor yang banyak kan cost labor. Jadi kita tak boleh produce banyak. So let's say lepas tu dia tak pakai whip lagi, dia dah pakai yang machine untuk whip tu kan. But then still, that machine tu dia masih lagi human operated. Dia macam semi-auto lah kan. Semi-auto for example. Sekarang ni kita dah boleh produce banyak sikit. Sebab apa? Kita masa untuk kita produce item tu dah tak lama. Nak produce ice cream tu dah tak lama. Lepas tu, teknologi increase lagi. Sekarang ni kita dah pakai mesin yang besar untuk produce, untuk whip ice cream tu. Dan the amount of the operator pun kita boleh kurangkan. Kalau dulu kita nak produce, katakanlah nak produce 10 liter ice cream, satu hari kita kena pakai 10 labor. Seorang dia kena whip 1 liter. Contohnya sebab dia whip manually kan. Lepas tu kita tukar kepada mesin, kita beli mesin, masih lagi manual operator, masih lagi perlukan labor, tapi sebab dia dah pakai mesin, walaupun mesin tu kena handle manually, tapi mesin tu laju. Okay, mesin tu laju, mungkin kita dapat kurangkan the amount of labor daripada 10 orang kepada 5 orang. So seorang kena whip 2 liter es krim satu hari. Contohnya. Katakanlah sekarang with the development of the technology, kita boleh pakai mesin yang besar. Mesin besar tu, katakanlah satu mesin tu dapat whip ice cream sebanyak 20 liter satu round. So mesin tu pula tak perlukan ramai operator. Dia hanya perlu seorang je operator untuk mesin kan. You just press the button. So kat sini kita dapat kurangkan labor cost. Kita dapat kurangkan labor cost kan. Kita dapat kurangkan labor cost. Lepas tu kita dapat increase amount of the ice cream itself. Sebab yelah satu kali whip tu satu orang dia dapat 20 liter kan. Satu batch tu 20 liter. So banyak. So that is the factor. Okay. Just a simple example. The rest you have to go and find out yourself. Okay. Next, let's talk about changes in quantity supply versus changes in supply ataupun shift in supply. Changes in quantity supply versus shift in supply. Changes in supply or shift in supply is the same thing, or shift in supply. So, the supply curve may change in the following situation. First, changes in quantity supply or movement along the supply curves. Second, changes in supply or shift in the supply curves. So changes in the quantity supply or movement along the supply curve. These are the same thing. Okay. It can happen due to the price of the good itself, whereby when the price of the good rises, the quantity supply will increase. So in this case, this is known as the expansion of supply. And when the price of the goods fall, the quantity will decrease. This one known as contraction of supplies. Tak nampak Okay, let me change this one. Let me change the color of this one first. Wait. Where to go? Wait. Let's change it to this one color. Nampak tak? Bocor. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. This way lah Nampak tak? Okay. Let's graph ni. Okay. Tadi kita kata apa tadi? The price of the good rises, the quantity supply will increase, dikenali sebagai expansion of supply. Contohnya macam kat sini. Harga barang meningkat. Harga aiskrim daripada $1 kepada $3. And then, the quantity supply pun also increase daripada supply 1 kon kepada 5 kon. Ini dikenali sebagai expansion of supply. X. Ayo. Wait. Wait. Pemadam. Expansion. Maksudnya kita expandkan kita punya supply. Okay. When the price of goods fall, the quantity will decrease as well. So contoh ni kalau harga tu turun kepada 50 sen. Kalau dia turun kepada harga 50 sen, so dia tak ada apa-apa yang dia boleh produce. Ini kita panggil sebagai contraction of supply. Contraction. Alamak, I cannot write ah. So, you get the idea. Okay. Okay. Supply changes in supply or shift in supply curve. These two are two same things. Okay. It can occur when the supply curve shift to the right or shift to the left due to changes in factors other than price of the good itself. So the supply curve will shift to the right when the supply increases and vice versa. Okay. The shift to the right known as increase of the supply and the shift to the left known as decrease of supplies. Mari kita tengok rupa parasnya. Inilah. Okay. So, tadi kita kata macam mana tadi? Kita kata, let me see. Yeah. Changes in supply occur when the supply curve shifts to the right or left due to changes in factor other than the price of the good itself. Lepas tu, the supply curve will shift to the right, shift to this one. When the supply increase kan, number of supply kita dapat increase. Katakanlah kat sini harga dia RM1. $3. Previously dia dapat produce, katakanlah kat sini 5. So, bila dia increase in supply, kat sini dia dapat produce 8. Okay. Okay. So, bila harga dah meningkat, kat sini katakanlah 6. 6 kat sini dia dapat produce 3. 6 kat sini dapat produce, wow, no, ni semua mungkin 7. Sini 6. Bila harga, katakanlah bila harga dia adalah RM3. So, sekarang ni kita dapat produce, originally kita dapat produce 5, changes in supply. Harga RM3 kita dapat produce kepada 8 unit. So, bila harga dia meningkat kepada RM6, kalau kita dapat increase in supply, increase in ada faktor-faktor lain lah yang dapat yang berikan contribution kepada supply barang tersebut, dia akan increase lah. Okay, kalau dia kurang tu dia akan decrease. So dia macam tadi lah. Dia kata, dia kata tadi factor other than the price of the good itself. Maksudnya macam tadi kita buat contoh biskut raya kan. Biskut raya, butter tu, gula tu, itu adalah faktor-faktornya. Sebab dia adalah raw material untuk producekan biskut tersebut. So, this is yang dimaksudkan sebagai changes in supply. Okay. Faham tak apa? Kita akan discuss nanti. Yeah, so that's all for today. Later, the third part we will discuss on the market equilibrium. So if you have any question, write down, get the question ready, and we will discuss it in the class. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye.